Hey guys, Audio Memos here. I'm gonna try to go through maybe a couple stories. I hope if I can remember really embarrassing stories. Okay, so just to get them out of the way. I remember me and my friend, if you could call him that, at the time, who I mainly hung out with. We were like breaking into this place. Because we were like criminals at this point, right? We were still really young. And I remember it was a restaurant, and there was like this window in the back that had like, I don't know what the fuck we were thinking, because I don't understand how we were going to get through the space. And the alley was wide open, so if anyone walked by, where the street was crossing the alleyway opening and entrance was like maybe like a couple, like 20 meters away or more, and maybe it was a bit dark, but I mean, we're just right there, messing with this window. And then I think I broke the window, but at the same time, well, I had squeezed through crazy positions, definitely. But this was insane. I don't think it would have been feasible. It wouldn't have worked. And right when I broke part of the window to start, taking out the big pieces or whatever. This would be the stupidest thing I've ever done. And then it snapped, one of the big pieces, and my right wrist went forward and just scraped against like really sharp piece of the window and just sliced my wrist right open, and like a upside down smile face, like at least 2 inches if it was straight, maybe more. And I looked in, it was all blue, and there was nothing there, I think. And then I guess the blood came after. I think I probably tried to put pressure on it, but we realized, like, I had snuck out of my mom's house. Like, I had done this, like, we were criminals, we were running with learning from criminals and doing a lot of this stuff, when we were underage there. So, anyway, we're freaking out. So now we gotta deal with this shit. And I snuck out of my house, so I can't go home and get my Medicare card. But the thing is, back in Montreal, back then, the Medicare cards didn't have photos yet. Right? So thank God. And then I think he had his Medicare card, or we had to go back home to his place. I eventually moved in with him and his family and his brothers. Or his brother. As I mentioned. So we get to the hospital. Somehow we got his Medicare card, and I'm telling the hospital that their pit bulls jumped on my back, and I fell through the living room window, which has happened to multiple people at his house when we were living there and shit. At least once, And so I wasn't, what I mean. It wouldn't look like I'm lying or anything, because then they're like, oh, okay, what happened to you? Like, you didn't do this, and they're like, no, and then they sewed me up, and I remember when I had to get the stitches out, I just took his Medicare card, and I was him, I might even have known his address if I had to ask me. But back then, things were easier. Like I said, man, I remember getting my mom beer at the store on my own, when I was young. Okay, there's that story. I guess there's nothing. These stories are really fucking boring, actually. Hopefully I'll be able to get better at storytelling. But you gotta start somewhere, right? So, there was that. And then another embarrassing story was when I had to get circumcised when I was 18 because I couldn't handle it anymore and I had to pay money. So this was like $600, which is a lot of money back then. And I think I was working at Ben's Deli and cutting smoked meat still, serving the counter, and downtown at Peel Metro, right? And I had to get this done. I hated that I was uncircumcised and I never really got laid because of it, I thought, or that's how I dealt with it. I was too shy. And then so I pay for it, and I remember they're doing it, and they freeze everything up, and they were talking. I think there was 2 guys. They might have been Jewish. I don't know. And I'm looking. I'm awake, I think. And I'm looking at it or them, and I'm like, oh God, I can't even look. You're just like, oh shit, like what the fuck? It's crazy, right? And then I don't know if I was like really well. Obviously, I'd been into a lot of crime at this point, and stealing. I got to do more. How much stealing I've done. And when I say stealing, I'm not including like breaking and entering crimes. Like stealing, I mean like, from stores or from places, a spot or. So anyways, I guess I didn't want to pay. So I tried to sneak out of the hospital. Like somehow it was set up and then I hadn't paid yet. I don't know how that worked, but maybe he was a private doctor in that hospital and something got overlooked and you know what I mean? And then I just ducked out of the hospital like the fucking that movie, what's his name? The Shadow, where the guy with the wraps around his face and shit, because my shit was all wrapped up like a mummy, right? And then fucking I get home and then I realize, oh shit, they used this like clear glue and some of the clear glue's over the hole and it's dried. So I go to piss, like full piss. And then it stopped. It wasn't going. So I was like, oh shit. So I had to like get some tweezers and like pull it out and rip it out. So maybe I shouldn't have paid that. Looking back, maybe I shouldn't have paid that fucker anyway, because he fucking screwed me. Maybe even. Anyway, after that, I was in fucking deep trouble. So if you've ever had that surgery, whoa, man, you'll be limping around. Oh, my jeans are just touching, and it's like, fuck. And then you gotta just get into baths slowly like this old man and slowly pull the bandage away, and it's just agonizing. It's torture, right? And then also the sensitivity of your, the end, the exposed part now, for a while is an issue. I get definitely, but then that goes away, and then you're a totally new person, but I guess maybe that made me shy because I'm still kind of shy. It definitely kept me away from a lot of women. I don't know. Now I could see that, other men, they went on with their lives and they just didn't bother them. I guess I was just really insecure and let me see. There's another story. I remember I had another surgery. And I'm kind of blessed. I've never had broken arms or broken legs but I did have these embarrassing surgeries. So I remember I was living with my older brother and his girlfriend, the one who was obsessed with me. And I don't know if I was playing around myself too much or the way I was sleeping. I remember that's what I had attributed it to, was I would be in a fetal position on my side, kind of. And I was on the floor, probably living in a room. for a temp period, and I just kept twisting and turning, and before I knew it, one of my testicles was hurting, and then I think I waited a week, and it just got worse and worse, and then I went to the hospital, and they were like, this kind of sucked. I remember, because it's a pretty embarrassing situation, and I think it was swelling up and then, discolored. It was strangled, one of them, and they were all, some of them, there was a whole group of them, they were fascinated, or they were studying it, but it didn't take that long, and they immediately put me into, they did some scans and shit, and they're like, okay, oh shit, surgery right away, or whatever. And then, and I remember the nurse was like the gorgeous model, blonde, I think. So nice, because I felt like shit after. But they saved my testicle. I don't know which one it was, and they went right into surgery. Yeah, and then I wanted to get the fuck out of there, because I think we were such potheads that I couldn't be away from weed for, you know what I mean, back then, when you're in that phase when you're younger. Weed is like at that point, weed is physically addictive. When you're young and you really get into weed and stuff, or it was for us. And so I wanted to get the fuck out of there, but I'm hobbling around like the guy who's wrapped up all like a mummy there. So that was fucked up, because he's like, no, you should stay like 2 days, and then I think he let me go. And he's like, yeah, you almost lost that one. And now I'm thinking, if I had that surgery, there's probably cancer down in there, maybe from when they did the surgery. If I'm 50 now. Hopefully not. But, who knows what other damage I did when I was living in my car. Fuck. But that was really embarrassing. I hobbled all the way home, and I think I tried to hide it from my friends. And I said, someone kicked me in the balls. Yeah, I think that's what I did. And I think I got away with it. Or no, maybe when I got uncircumcised is when I tried to hide that, and I said that I got kicked in the balls or something. But I mean, a couple of my friends, and obviously my brother, knew. But no, it's not a topic that would come up every day. It was something that I was dealing with myself, Oh yeah, let me add to this before I clip it. Another really embarrassing story, and I don't want to ever tell these again. But you guys, if you want to know, well, there's not much more to know. But I was a kid. I was growing up with these, I think they were called the Brandons. No. The Jehovah's Witnesses, they had the big house. They were taking care of me and my brothers. Yeah, all of my brothers, and my older brother for a long time. I remember I used to sit, there was like some records outside where the chickens were, and we used to listen to records, and there was like this 007 GoldenEye record or something. Oh no, The Man with the Golden Gun or something. And my grandmother was so strict that she would fucking take it away, and she's like, no, you can't listen to this stuff, and it was like, what? And then we'd go blueberry picking. She would take us blueberry picking. That was like the best part of my childhood, I think, probably, in BC. Right? So then, okay, obviously I'm still uncircumcised because I'm young. And it's the worst, because people have to clean it and they pull it back and take even the bath. It's like, it's a fucking nightmare. So I'm zipping up my jeans, but I don't know how zippers work, or how foreskin works too well, I guess. And I end up zipping right into it, right in the middle of it, all the way. and it's in the zipper, and the zipper just kept going. You know what I mean? Like, it's not halfway, because the skin can flex into the crevices, right? So I just fucking like, wow, you know. And the father, I don't know who else was there. I think the mother was there, yeah, because I think the father had to take over. Because in that situation, they both look at each other and they're like, okay, so you want to do it? You know what I mean? And it was the father, and this guy was huge, eh? And then I think he tried to do it, and it's like, and then he just had to just do it, you know? It was like, and then I think it was all fucked up for a while and healed. Oh, fuck. That was a fucking nightmare, man. So, to this day, okay, I do not wear jeans with zippers. I only buy button-fly Levi's, and they only sell them at, you know, Levi's, Marks. It's hard to get button-flies, so I had to figure out a way to only get button-flies. And that's how I became a button-fly, man. And it's hard, because even if I was to become homeless, I'm not the type of guy who can go into Walmart and go, oh shit, you know, I only got money for weed and you know, food and fuck, I'm gonna have to buy those Wranglers, man. No. I'm not gonna be buying Wranglers, you know. Like, I'd probably have to go to jail or something to get my button flies, you know what I mean? Like, there's no fucking way, dude. And it's just a different cut of jeans. It's way more better, and you know what I mean? You look much better in the $110 jeans. You know, they only last about, what, fucking 6 months, because then right at the crotch, you know, if jeans are fitting you well, and they're not tight, but that will deteriorate. And then what I was thinking was, I bet smart people take that patch, and then the patch you buy that you iron on in the same color or even close to it, and then you just do that right away when you buy them. But then I was thinking, I think I've either tried that, or eventually where that ends, it will do the same thing, because it's meeting the friction at a different point of I don't know. I haven't even had a fucking iron to do that, and I wanted to do that. I actually had the patches, and but I don't have a fucking iron, and I've been fucking barely keeping myself fucking together lately. So, but the key thing is that I'm not drinking and I'm here talking, so that's why I'm doing this too. Instead, because the beer, you know, there's some good channels with guys. There's that guy in Scotland I like. He does the drinking channels. I mean, not the drinking channels. He's got a drinking channel, a don't drink channel, and he's just like, oh yeah, you know, you got to stay away from that. And he's mumbling. Like, I love Scottish accents. I love the UK, and my mom's from the UK, my grandmother, so I guess that's. But, you know, like, my mom always watched Coronation Street when I'd be skipping school and stuff. But he's got a good drinking channel, and anyways, I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. Alright, ciao guys.